Welcome, everybody. This will be the first Unhinged Penguin Go podcast. So, what we're going to do today is pretty much talk about our initial thoughts on Penguin Go and kind of the progression moving forward. Um, so, just to get us started, um, what were your thoughts when first downloading this game, like picking it up? You probably clicked a Facebook ad or something. So what's your first um impressions when you first got into the solo modes at the very beginning?
Uh, I'll start. I think I'm just gonna say what everyone was thinking. The game's ads and the gameplay itself weren't necessarily the same. I did, however, kind of like the game. I'm not somebody who plays tower
Yeah,
defense games usually. Uh, it was very very fun, but also I feel like the story mode in the beginning is very hard, especially if you have no idea what you're doing. But the game does do a good job of explaining like gameplay mechanics for the most part.
I agree. Yeah, I know. So the how I got into this game initially was I saw this ad where it's like you're dragging the dragon eggs that we see in the game together, and then they eventually become into like this crazy looking dragon. So when I got into the game, it was a bit different. Um, and when I unlocked dragon, funny story, I would try to do that and I couldn't figure out how to merge the eggs, right? Uh,
Mine was
so
Envoy.
yeah.
Oh, mine was the Ice Queen. But Ice Queen, they were raving about how overpowered she was. Like, this is the best hero. And then once you get in, you're like, what is this hero? Half of her mechanics aren't explained.
True. Couldn't even figure out how to unlock the hero for a little bit. Um, I did find it interesting. I think our first hero in the game is Shadow Hunter, right?
It
Um,
is.
Shadowhunter and Scarlet.
Correct.
so my first few impressions on picking up summoning a mythic hero felt really good. And I'm like, wow, I don't even know how I did this, right? I just got a bunch of stuff on the board, and I'm like, this got to be the best hero in the game, right? Um, but that quickly changed the more I progressed through the beginning. Um, but I did find unlocking different mythic heroes was really cool and kind of exploring what they all did. Because I know for a while, after my Shadowhunter phase, I thought Medusa was the coolest hero because I'm like poison damage, AoE, um, in control. I'm like, this is the best, right? Like this is everything in one. Um, so it definitely is interesting. Like as a newer player, you don't know anything about the game, and just looking back and thinking on first impressions and how much everything has changed to this point, right? Um, were there any like heroes you guys thought were gonna be just straight meta when you first picked up the game? Like I know I said uh Ice Queen. Um but any others you guys had high
M-
hopes for?
Most definitely Envoy, and not to say Envoy is like a disappointing hero, but it's like somewhat a luck-based hero with the ascension mechanic. But like the ad I've seen, it was just Envoy soloing stages over and over and over, and like I thought that was so cool. I was like this badass looking angel, with wings, just ascends and then starts nuking everything. You unlock Envoy, you get into game, and then you fail like 10 ascensions in a row, and then you go like, and when it does succeed, you're like, wait, it's not actually just like full one-shotting everything. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like my first impressions on the game, but I did definitely like the game. Like, it's a game that like does a good enough explanation of like the gameplay mechanics in the beginning, combined with there was some content out there already for people to watch to like slightly understand the game better. Like combining those two, I definitely say I had an easy time getting into the game. But like looking back on things, I definitely made a lot of mistakes or did a lot of things that I wouldn't have done had I had the knowledge I have now.
True. True.
Absolutely.
I
So
know.
for
What's
Oh, sorry. Go
Balu's
ahead.
opinion on this? What was
Oh,
Balu's
Ice.
first
yeah, we
hero?
haven't heard iBallou.
Oh, yeah. True.
I'm a different story. I'm a really different story. I came from Lucky Defense, so this game was like a copy paste for me. I knew everything. So I knew what to level up, what to mythics to log into, what we would need in later stages for hard mode. So yeah, for me it was like, oh, I know this. Let's play this.
Would you
And I'm on
My
server
first
3, so I
rodeo.
joined.
would
I
you
joined
say
like
that
3 games after release, 3 days after release.
would you say that kind of took some fun out of the game, like remove some exploration for you, or did you still have fun playing through it?
Yeah, to be honest, it was more fun because I knew the way Lucky Defense handle things. And honestly, in this game, they do it better. We have some issues with the developers and with some of the game mechanics, but in general, they did a better job than Lucky Defense.
Yeah, I have seen Lucky Defense ads, and I do see the similarities based off of what I see, like the hunters and stuff like that. So I
Yeah,
can
it's
see
basically copy paste.
just like Penguin Go definitely nails it with like the animations, I feel like.
Yeah, that's right. It looks
So
way better.
very aesthetically pleasing opposed to um pixelated craziness, right?
Hey, it matters if you're spending your free time on a game, you want it to be pretty. Cause like for me, that was one of the reasons why I started playing the game, because it looked cool. I've seen the Lucky Defense ads and never have I like stopped them for I want to play that game. I saw this game and I was like, that looks cool as hell. I want to play that game.
I'm really the same. If I'm gonna spend my time and money on a game, I want to at least be aesthetically appealing.
Yeah, I agree.
Lucky Defense, I could not even think of starting one game.
Yeah, definitely aesthetics play a role. Also, like, I mean, if you have a hero that's gonna do a lot, you want it to look like it's gonna do a lot. Like when you pop an envoy, right? You know it's about to do a lot of damage, right? Or at least for me. And I think definitely like just experiencing like my first like envoy um, ascension was like super cool. It's like common, and it felt like so game changing.
Yeah.
And those earlier parts of the game.
Mm.
Um, I know a lot of people in common, just starting out the game. Sometimes they'd bank their whole run off of like procking like one or two envoys, and like we would go from like a wave 60 to clear with the same person. So that was like,
Definitely have done that in the past. Won or lost runs just based off of envoy luck. Definitely.
so that
Yeah,
was
so for me, it was Scarlet Scythe that I thought had the most potential because her skills are very, very phenomenal if you're just reading them by their descriptions.
yeah.
Because you're getting 100% more attack would be great. But back then, I didn't realize that her base attack, compared to all of the other heroes, is absolutely bottom tier.
She's lower. She's lower than the control unit. She's lower than Frozen Heart and stuff.
Yeah,
Is she lower than a bullhead even? Like possibly.
Not sure. I don't
no,
think so. She's slightly higher than Necro. But she's like less than half of what Croc's attack is. She's like lower than Frozen Heart, which is considered to be a range control unit, right? And range units in general tend to have slightly less attack because they are ranged.
Or,
But I feel
hmm,
like that's not something you pay attention to as a new player, right? You don't really pay attention to attack values or stuff. Or at least me, as somebody who's not played tower defense games and stuff like that before Penguin Go, like going into the game, that was definitely not what I was looking at. I wasn't looking at, oh my god, like what's the attack value of this unit? Like I was reading the skills, and I do agree with Ice. Like they do read really cool, but you're not really
yes,
thinking
I
about
agree.
scaling, base attack, and all of that stuff.
I thought
Exactly.
Scythe was so cool. I honestly bought the skin right away because I'm like, they had the skin. This has to be like one of the big ones you use, right? It looks cool until you look at the level 12 ability. Um, but the whole like, what is it, 5,000 attack power or something like that? Or am I thinking of like the Supreme skill? Um,
For
something
what the
crazy.
level 12, it's 50% defense down increase.
No, no, no. I'm talking about the ultimate skill. The
Oh,
oof,
So the
you-
ultimate's 4,000.
4,000. Yeah.
Uh,
4,000. Okay. I mean, yeah, it looks great, right? Like if you're just starting the game, it's like, oh wow, like this unit is about to pump, like that's how I felt. I feel like I
exactly.
felt that way with everyone. That um was just very excited when I started the game. Um, so what were your guys like strategies going into common, right? You know, how did they like start out and how did they kind of develop like going from common into hard?
Yeah, let me start this one because my story was the best of all. Since I was on the first servers, and my first three mythic units were Frozen Heart, Voodoo, and Turtle. That's
Oh
all I
boy.
could get in the first week. I had all the knowledge. I knew everything. I knew how to solo common mode, like basically when I started the game. But I couldn't do it. And I couldn't explain it to people. Most of them aren't even here or aren't even playing the game anymore. But it was so fucking frustrating seeing
My
what people
gosh.
do, like the Scarlet thing, or putting voodoos and turtles up at the front just because, yeah, they're mythic. It's a new game. People think mythics equals damage. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a fucking disaster for the first week. And when I finally unlocked Turn from the 1 week event thingy, I had my first common clear and was able to carry common. So yeah,
Nice.
that was my story. But yeah, I used to play with a guy called Diamond. I don't know, he was one of the first players and the first whales on the server. So I
Interesting.
used to like spam 9 turtles for him just so he had stun and he would do envoys and all the other fancy shit. But he didn't know about hammer and save, so yeah, that's another story. Econ. That's why we did the econ guide in the first place, the normal faker co-op guide.
Okay.
That's a um I guess I'll do mine.
Yeah.
So when I so kind of like how Balu was saying, um I thought mythics equaled damage, right? And then so I would be the person to spawn, like I said, I loved Medusa, right? So I would spawn all these things right by my door. Like just as many Medusas as I could, because like it was my only level 6 or something. So I'm like, this is the way to win. And then I had like a level 22 join my common run. And then they had all like the Terminators and everything. And like we made it to round 80. And then the the boss wasn't moving on my side, but he had his boss killed. And then he's like saying some stuff to me, some pretty mean stuff. And I'm like, why aren't they moving? He's like, move your stuns. And I'm like, well, surely, I don't have any triangles over there. I didn't know Medusa's stunned until even later after that. But that's kind of my intro to the game right there.
You were the person we all despise nowadays, stunning the
Yes,
entrance.
Yeah.
I was the same way. I always thought stunning your side of the spawn so you can kill them as soon as possible was the best option. Did not
True.
even trigger to think that if you both attack it, they die even faster. So, for my
True.
common, it was just Ice Heart, and I think it was Scarlet. So, Frozen Heart and Scarlet were my number 1 and 2 for pretty much half of the beginning of the game. Because I didn't take the time to actually read what they did.
Yeah.
I would read their skills, but that was it. I didn't read, oh, this one stuns for 4 seconds. So common for me was an absolute struggle. I couldn't beat common, even with having term unlocked. I think I had, yeah, term and dragon unlocked. Could not be common because
Ooh.
I didn't pay attention to the basics of the game until I saw the economy build. That's actually when I started pulling off and actually being able to clear and carry common.
I
Really, the
Relatable.
economy setup is what kept me playing the game. Because I was about to quit. I was like, this game isn't good. Well, what am I even supposed to do?
I mean, I can definitely somewhat relate. Like, I had the same thought process when I started. Like I did. Like, I kind of just played it like solo stages. You know, like stunning mobs early, and then oh, if I stun him early, I have more time to kill him. Kind of thing. So I definitely did do some spawn stunning in the beginning as well. But obviously, I'm from a lot later server than you guys. I already had the content out there accessible for me. And I'm the kind of person, like, if I don't know something or I struggle with something, I go and look it up. I did find fakers like original guides, and I feel like I didn't have the same kind of struggles as you guys did because, well, I had somebody kind of teach me how to play the game in that sense. I think my very first common clear was through an Envoy Ascension actually. Because I big Envoy fan. I think it was my first 6 as well. Yeah, I think that was mine. It's, just ascending Envoy and then Envoy just absolutely carrying me.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Envoy good.
So now it's like we go through our troubles in common, but we still don't know everything going into hard, right? Or maybe some did, not my dumbass. But so like, what were your guys' strategies in hard? You know, with the tools you had available. You know, how was that? Like, how was that progression for you guys?
Mine was pretty boring. I'll take this first because mine is short and sweet. I was able to clear common solo, but I could not find. So this was the time where I used to hit random matchmaking all the time and not even like look through summon menu or like talk to people and ask in word chat. Uh, I eventually ended up joining the Discord, and then I got carried by Sleepy actually through my
Okay.
very first hard clear. So definitely a new gen player move. But
True.
like my very I don't think my very first like actual hard clear by myself or hard carry uh came until I had Chanter 12, Term 12, and I think even Dragon. I think I had Dragon, Chanter, and Term 12 before I was able to do it because I just had such horrible luck with hammers, right? Like I had the 1-star hammer for the longest time. Uh,
Yeah.
so for me, it was definitely a very, very big struggle to carry hard just because of collectible luck, which I feel like a lot of people can relate to as well. And even though I did spend like some money on the game at that point, I wasn't really like spending much. I bought some packs and then mostly pickaxes because that's the advice everyone was giving. Like just buy the pickaxes from monthly shops. Yeah, that's pretty much mine. My very first clear was carried by Sleepy, and my own clear didn't come until like much.
Interesting. What about one of y'all, Balu or Ice?
So for me, I was still learning how to actually utilize the economy build when I first got access to hard mode. So it probably took me around a week to actually clear hard mode. It wasn't an issue with collectibles, hero levels, nothing. I had level 12 Croc by then because once I saw Croc, I was like, this is the one that's going to go far.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Fair point.
Because that's when I started actually paying attention to the hero level upgrades. Started actually planning out and using other people's opinions as a basis to form my own strategies. Um, when I first started hard, I couldn't clear dungeon. I had no idea what a dungeon was until I actually did the in-game lesson showing what dungeon was. So pretty much my strategy was to have 3 lots, 2 turtles, and 1 sword. I had a level 6 sword at the time. Pretty much didn't have any ranged heroes at all. So I was heavily reliant on actually having the space for my melees to hit.
Yeah.
Over actually thinking out and processing, hey, if I use term, since he does a pretty high percent damage based off of his base attack, it might help you quite a bit more.
Yeah. That seems like a good way to progress. Definitely like it's interesting just to see the changes like people have from common to hard. Like I feel like that is actually like one of the biggest gameplay leaps in the game. Uh, of course, because you're learning all the initial strategies. You know, it's no longer, hey, this looks cool. It's like, well, does it actually do something, right?
Exactly.
Collectibles and like gameplay strategy, like economy and stuff like that are coming into effect. Yeah, definitely.
Uh, so my hard story is way more fucking scuffed because I think this was the time I joined the Discord. I saw the economy strat, and I still haven't looked at it. Right. Um. I was very. I guess in a way, I'm like, no, I'm gonna just do this my own fucking way. Right. Like typical Chloe ideas. So instead of like reading up on what a hammer does or a safe does or anything, like my whole hard progression was like I would always upgrade legendary enhance to the max, right? And then like I would just make crocs. Like no coin ups, no fucking
You
fairies,
you
just
mean
crocs and
you mean the
terms.
summon chance?
Yeah,
Ah, okay.
the
Yeah,
upgrade.
yeah.
Yeah, I figured everyone would kind of understand that, but um, and then like I progressed with this guy. He was quiet, and then I was pretty quiet for the most part. Because I just mind my own business, just silently welling. Um, and like we ended up getting the clear. I think it took like 9 crocs and like 3 turns, like something crazy. But my strategy was instead of saving money, I would blow all of my money and sell anything I didn't need for mythic enhance level. Right? Like it's just a really bad strategy. And we somehow got it through with a ton of fucking crocs. And eventually like playing with better players, I learned to not have thieves in the middle of the map or like just stupid stuff. Like you get coins from coin ops, you get silver from hunters. Like um, that came down the road. Um, so it was a rocky road for me and hard because um, I wanted to figure it out by myself, I guess, right? And in term, it caused a lot more uh, trouble than if I just would have looked up a guide, right? Um, so that was very rough for me. But what about you, iBallou?
Yeah, for me, it was kinda like Scat's problem. Plus, we didn't have anyone with high collectibles. There was like two people with a 3-star hammer and a 3-star safe, but both of them didn't want to read the guide too. So they played like you, like brute force it. Just envoys, just crocs, just anything, just spam summons till you're out of silver. Yeah, so it was a hard way. We had to teach people, we had to tell them, look at your collectibles, you need a safe, you need a hammer. And I think I started soloing it when I reached hammer and safe 2 stars because I prepared for hard mode and like leveled up Chanter, Coin Orb, Sword Spirit, and Dragon. So I had everything set up for bosses, for wave clears, and for econ. But yeah, I just missed the collectibles because free to play, stuff like that. The server just started. We didn't have most of the events that the new player get. So yeah, it was a struggle.
Yeah, I could understand that. And you had so many hard clears. I think you had like way more than me by the end of it before Nightmare.
Yeah, fun
Definitely
fact
put
about my clears. When I played Lucky Defense, I played it for 2 years and had like
wow.
1000 hard clears and like 800 commons and one nightmare clear. Like literally one. And in this
Mm,
game, I'm playing for 3 months now. I have like 400 to 500 common, 400 to 500 hard clears, and I think 15 nightmare clears. So yeah, you can see the
would
dedication.
mm, would you say this game is like easier in an aspect, or do you think it was just like knowledge of like progression through Lucky Defense that kind of aided really
It's
this
harder.
entire community, right?
Penguin Go is harder, to be honest, because in Lucky
Oh,
Defense there's some units, like there's one guy, he's called Batman, and you can basically enhance him with lucky coins, like you enhance your lord. But he would reach with 1-star hammer, 1-star save, like if you do him plus 12, he had like 100 million damage in common
wow,
mode when you just started the game. So yeah, he was like basically the hack for common mode. And when you got to hard mode, you had other units. They have like crazy scaling there too.
interesting.
Yeah, so lucky defense is easier in that part, and also safe and hammer are not locked behind like mythic artifacts. Every artifact has the same chance. So you either get shit or you get a hammer. It's the same chance.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
no rarities in collectibles there. So they're
hmm.
all like common. So yeah, Penguin Go is definitely a little harder, but the requirements to clear hard mode are lower. So basically in the other one, you needed a 4-star hammer and a 4-star save to be able to play hard mode.
Oh wow. Mm. Um. So I know, like I felt like kind of everyone experienced this, but during the hard mode, um, it's like now we're kind of getting into ranked too, right? So I'm curious on like how like your first few ranked games were, and then like how it developed over time.
Who wants to?
So for me, uh, I sucked at ranked. I sucked at ranked more than I sucked at common co-op. Like I was actually that teammate that would stun the side because
Relatable.
I had no idea what anything meant. Looking back, I feel like I was like the dumbest person in the game. But for ranked, when I actually started power creeping and taking over on the leaderboards was when I actually started paying attention to what the psychs, the techs, all of the buffs and superior heroes did. I was probably mastered. Yeah, I was in masters when I found out Shadowheart as a superior is good. That's how long it took me to actually take the time to pay attention to what the buffs do and what they can assist me in to get further in the waves and the bosses.
Yeah. Um, I'll say when I first entered ranked, like I was considering like putting the game down, like on the very like first and second match, because like my minions they weren't strong, or my summons weren't strong enough to like kill anything. Like I could hardly damage the minions, right? And then like the level 10 boss was like horrible for me. Um, I'm not sure what level I started this, but uh, so when ranked first started, like it felt so fast, and my heart would pound every single time I would get into a ranked game, because I'm like I know I don't know what I'm doing. Um, so like that was like really big fear of mine. So I did like my placing matches. My partner, first game, I think we won, but then I got the same partner twice in a row, and he AFK'd the next two games. So we like died like super early, wave like 14 or something. Um, and so then I took a break from ranked and learned a little bit about the game and hard mode. Started doing a lot in PvE, and then I came back to it. And of course, well, at this point now, I'm honestly like, well, the fuck up. But um, and then I started learning a bit when everyone else was talking about ranked. I think everyone would be talking about ranked all the time. Everyone was like super excited to see each other inside there. So I decided to give it another go. And then I'm like, well, this is really fun. This is like a roguelike, right? Like you get sci tech through the game. Um, I think I would always initially go for like the free summon chances or whatever. And then eventually I found out how like things like HP or damage percentage to boss or minions can be like really good. And then like other things. And then like I figured out this superior unit stuff. I didn't understand it for a while. So I just always try to summon whatever superior. Um, it was a learning process, and still learning now, honestly. But it was a very rough road, just like hard. A lot of rough roads for Chloepop.
Follow you on next?
Yeah, I can do that because mine is similar to Ice. I just had to understand all the mechanics, all the superior stuff, and read. Because yeah, since I'm on the first servers, ranked was the one thing we were looking forward. And yeah, we got stumped, to be honest. Because the matchmaking, so you would like be put together with kings when you just started the game, because barely anyone played the game in the first place. So yeah, we just had to read everything. But since then, yeah, it's fun. I kind of try not to play too much rank because yeah, it's very busy in there right now since all you guys joined.
Hmm.
But yeah, rank is fun. You just need to read.
Um, my first impressions on ranked, I mean, I think similarly to every single player in the game, my first few games are absolutely horrible. No idea what's going on. My units are weak because like you're very low level when the game like first introduces the opportunity for you to play rank, and then you look at it and like, oh, this is pretty good rewards. I can get like a chat bubble, a frame, and then you don't really have access to those kind of stuff. They look cool, so you want to get them, right? So you want to get to Jade. But then I started playing, and my first 5 games, honestly, I feel like I kind of stomped just because I already had some knowledge of like economy and stuff like that, or like what units are good or not. And then I looked at what's superior, and I used a strat of, oh, if it's superior, I summon it kind of thing, if I had it
Yeah,
unlocked.
yeah.
Uh, and honestly, that worked wonders for me for my placements game. I placed like high gold or something, and then I was like, oh, this is sick, like now I just got platinum and then jade, and then I got the border I was going for. But then I think as soon as my placement games finished, I stopped playing against like similar level players. I started getting placed against like diamonds, some masters here and there, like the matchmaking started kicking in. And this was during season 3 rank, right? Uh uh I did not have a good time. I did quit, and then I met this guy called Hotel in word chat. Me and him, we were doing some hards, and then we started playing rank. And then when I was like, really, he was the only reason why I even broke the break I took from rank, because to me, rank was just like so foreign. Like, I feel like people don't read the all the psychs when they load in. Like, you might look at what's the superior units, but you don't read the psychs. But the psychs do a lot for the game as well, right? Um, and then reading them and understanding them is two different things once again. But yeah, I took a break,
Correct.
came back once I started duoing. I did eventually get to Jade, and then I was like, we are kind of on a roll as a duo queue, so I was like, I want to keep going. And then I think I only ended up making it to like diamond before I quit again, because yeah, matchmaking was just not very fair. I kept playing against like good players. That actually knew what was going on, and then I started feeling like my collectibles are not good and stuff. So even like during this season rush, like end of season 3 season rush, I wanted to get back into rank to get some more of the rewards, like the masters, apex masters rewards. But like I kept getting the teammates that we all were once upon a time, that just have no idea what's going on. So like I couldn't win my game, so I just I quit. And then really only now, after like I was done with Nightmare and the new season came out, and obviously now I have a lot stronger units, a lot stronger collectibles, and I do understand the game as well. I started having fun in ranked. Like before that, I feel like it was just miserable.
True. Yeah, definitely can feel bad if you don't like feel strong enough. I mean, I can't really relate too much other than just pure being a noob is what put me back. Like I get smoked out by free to play. uh, but definitely like learning like shadow hunter stuff and the boss mechanic. We didn't have access to nightmare, so like learning these bosses was like really rough for me. Like the card one, the random heroes. Like I thought that was gonna buff all my troops once, so I put all my good troops inside these
No.
cards, and they all shift to like Scarlet size, and I'm like, what the fuck? Just like very rough time, but luckily, like the interest in ranked kind of got us prepared for Nightmare, right? Um, because that was our first exposure to bosses actually performing mechanics, and it's like, oh shit, now we actually have to play the game, right? Um, which kind of leads me into our next topic here is how did Nightmare start for everyone? Like the very beginning of Nightmare, so no Blast Cat, right? Like, what was y'all's first like initial strategies going into Nightmare with like no Blast Cat? Now we have level 12s, maybe some 15s for some people. So,
So I'll go first on this one. When Nightmare came out, I was in that phase. Hey, I'm trying to more build my own strategies instead of going to the Discord just to get help or guides on how to complete it, how to get further. I wanted to more develop my own sense of thinking.
yeah.
So when Nightmare first came out, complete struggle, as to be expected. We could get to 50, but at 50 and beyond, the waves started becoming an issue because that 40%, no, the 50% reduced stun. I didn't realize that until like day 3.
Yeah.
So I was wondering why they were getting past. We have the same setup we usually do for hard. Like, we were just throwing dragons at Nightmare at that point, with me and the other top player in my server zone.
Okay.
Like, we were able, once we started just doing dragons, we were actually able to make it to around 75. Uh, but still, we were completely at a loss on what we could do better, what we could change, and then ended up pinning it on, oh, we'll just wait for Blast Cat to come out because we know this is supposed to be the strat for it.
Yeah.
And then once Blast Cat actually came out for us, because it was pretty sure it was a week late for my server. Not too
Mm.
sure on that, but once it actually came out, we actually paid attention to building turtles, stuff like that. And it was pretty much a 90 plus from there on.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty good story. Pretty good progression. What about one of y'all, Scott or iBallou?
Uh, I'll go with mine. I gonna be honest. The very beginning of Nightmare when it released, I think I like gave it a try. I might have been playing with Sombra around that time already. I gave it a try. Did kind of the similar thing as Ice did. We tried doing what we were doing on hard. It wasn't really working, and then I quickly did we played a few games, see what's going on. Wasn't working. Tried changing some strategies, using different units, stuff like that. Um, and then this is obviously pre-Blast as well. And then nothing was really working. We couldn't get far. Then I just did the maths on it. Like vigor to key ratio we were getting at that point, and I ended up just chalking it up to this is as cool as it is to be, playing Nightmare because it's the new game mode. It just wasn't worth my time because I couldn't get far enough in it. So I ended up going back to hard mode, farming hard for a bit longer. Then the Blastcat event came out. Got faced with the sad reality of I'm just not strong enough to DPS. And then at that point, we already knew about like the support DPS strat. I was playing with Sombra. He had a lot better collectibles than me. So he ended up DPSing. I was playing support. I think we were like consistently getting like wave 70-ish, like around there. But it's actually worth to be playing Nightmare because you get an emblem and then like slightly more keys, I think, than you get for hard or around the same. But you do get the emblem, right? And I thought, oh, there is no other way of really obtaining emblems in the game without paying frost gems. So this is worth it. So I had like, this is why I'm out of crystals nowadays as well. It's because I had a period of time where me and Sombra were just farming Nightmare like wave 70 to 80, pretty
Yeah.
much like consistently just for emblems. Um, and then obviously Plusket came out. Everyone was like, "Oh, this is good. We can like now clear and so on." Then I ended up, networking my way into playing with the stronger players, and then started farming my clears to a point where eventually I got my unit strong enough, and then got good enough at the game where I can do it with lower requirements than what we originally thought would be.
Hmm. That's a good story too. So much of a journey, like from hard to nightmare. What about you, iBallou? You were with Faker a lot, I believe.
Yeah, we prepared for it even before before people even thought of it, that Nightmare could came out, because we knew again from the other game they had 4 game modes. They have like the Purgatory mode too.
Yeah.
So we knew there would be a new mode, and Faker somehow got his hands on one of the Filipino versions, I think. So he knew what was coming. He knew Cat was coming, and I knew I need Turtle and Dragon for support. So I was basically the first guy who did the support build with the 6 turtles, put some dragons, put some triangles, and do the support player if you are not able to DPS. And he had all the hammers and saves, and yeah. When it first came out, Nightmare, we had struggled, of course. We did get to 79, I think, but that's only because Faker's highest DPS unit at that point without Cat was Envoy at level 6 and Terminator 12. So yeah, we couldn't do shit. But when Cat came out, we had the essence for it. Faker had the essence for level 15 Cat, and it took us about 6 hours, 24 tries, 99 wave 99 deaths. But yeah,
Oof.
eventually we did it.
Wow.
Jeez. So in my situation, we actually had a lot of information from a lot of different players. Um, so of course, like pre-Blast Cat, um, we were all prepared. Like I even leveled my turtle to 12. It turns out that I would never use it moving forward. Um, but I think me and Panda, we took a go at it for a while, and of course we would use pre-Blast Cat. He would spawn as many envoys as he could, and then we'd make some big ass shimmers, and then throw some dragons at it, and then um, I think like the highest I could go without Blast Cat was like 92, 94. And I really wanted to clear like before Blast Cat, but this was like right in tax season. So I couldn't play the game, which really sucked. Cause like I wanted it like really, really bad. But luckily like we had so much information available to us. Like we knew how to build econ, we knew the stun setups, because everyone just had all this information from Slack Off Survivor. Um, and then Ruby was very helpful in showing like certain players like how to do, um, like support. She was like amazing off of it at it, like day one. So like I would say we had an edge uh, on other zones. And then of course, so eventually, like I kind of accepted the fact that I don't have the time to get it down. Like I'm sure if I grinded enough, we had enough RNG, no crew runs, nothing crazy, we could get it. But then Blast Cat did end up coming out, and then at first I hated Blast Cat. I thought it sucked, and this is like night of, right? And I knew someone was gonna get it clear that night with Blast Cat, so I had to get it before then. Um, so I'm like complaining in Discord. I'm like, my Blast Cats don't do damage, and then Faker posted this very small clip of him like rotating his Blast Cats, and I'm like, wait a second, wait a second. I don't have to ult all of these at the same time, right? Um, so then like the next game after that video, it's like we ended up pushing through. I think we had like 5 or 6 blast cats. We were using 4 fairies, like 5 coin ops, and we put them in a line, like in the middle. It was such a weird setup compared to what we do now. Um, and pretty much just barely scuffed it up. Like I know we probably still had minions from like 98 or 99, and like we barely clutched it. We were using 2 swords, um, and managed to pull through. Um, but it was definitely like really rough days inside the nightmare times, or the beginning nightmare, like before whatever has happened in the last 2 weeks. Um, but an interesting thing is I feel like Nightmare is really where everyone started getting like really good at the game, compared to what we were in hard mode. Um, like because now we're like trying to optimize every little thing, right? Like we're trying to optimize our emblems. We're trying to, uh, it's like, do I need X amount of coin ops, or how does Necro impact the game? Does it improve the consistency in like crow runs, or like, um, how many blast cats do I need? Um, how does like shimmer affect the game? It's like, do I need shimmer? Do I even need a sword? Like Ice, I think was like the first guy running like no sword, and I just thought that was so cool. Like we're finding out these different things, and everyone's finding out like such unique strategies on how to conquer these obstacles, right? So what do you guys think? Uh, like, how do you guys feel about how Nightmare has progressed from the beginning to the strats that you and others are coming up with now in Nightmare?
I'll start this. Um, I think it was definitely like the most fun I had in this game. Like the whole evolution of Nightmare, like just going through all the theory crafting and like seeing all the stuff that people have tried out and like how much better people have gotten the game since Nightmare has released. Because I definitely agree that the player base in general has gotten better, obviously, because the game is a lot faster, a lot more mechanics and so on, a lot more min-maxing going on. But like I think I got my first clear with Chloe as well. I think you were my first clear. And
Yeah,
then I
down
started
for a
playing
minute.
with Ruby, right? And this was the time where everyone was like building sword spirit, like 1 sword or 2 sword or something, and then just like as many blaskets as you can, right? And I think Ruby
Yeah,
was like the first person who just like we were getting clears, but we weren't getting consistent clears. So we started like brainstorming of like, oh, what can we do? And then she started using Shimmer, and we're like, wait, this feels really good because of Shimmer's like wave clear. It improves with the blasket consistency. If your blaskets are not like synced properly or struggling with waves, they execute damage. It felt good. And then like you guys started using more coin ops, like went from 4 to 5 to 6. And then like just seeing these runs like get like optimize to be more consistent, so every run is like almost a guaranteed clear. But then the exact opposite, like once new stuff got introduced to the game, like the map skins, people got more 15 units, and then you started like cutting all of that stuff that you had to add in the beginning back out again, so you can just do it lazy mode as fast as possible. Like I feel like that was like a super cool dynamic of like sweating to have the clears consistently, and just adding, you basically just threw more economy at it. Like, how can I generate more silver, more coins, so I'm consistently strong enough every single run, to a point where it's like, how can I remove as much stuff as possible so I don't have to sit here building for 70 waves, but still be strong enough. So I think that was super cool about it.
good, good. How about you, Ice? How do you?
For me, the progression from when I first actually started, and then when we were getting consistently cleared throughout it. Big game changer was actually joining the Discord and then bouncing ideas off of people that had similar mindsets of, oh, we need to min-max this. This is what we should go for, and this is what the support needs. That was mind-changing
Yeah.
because it less started being playing for fun and more playing competitively. So just being able to share thoughts and decide what was good, what wasn't with other people was definitely a really good experience for me. I never really focused much on any other heroes. I really wanted to consistently only get Blast Cats at the beginning because she was my most consistent and my only 15 at the time. So just being able to ult rotate, instruct supports on how to do their setup, and then also being able to give tips and tricks on how to get their setup sooner with like selling their rares that they're not using, um, not upgrading enhance because realistically you don't need the lucky coins as much as you need the silver as a support because those elemental elves are the biggest struggle to get as a support unless you are saving them and micromanaging your setup. Honestly, it just made me love the game more.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was because I know at the end of hard, I'm like, well, if nightmare's like this, I don't know, I'll probably get bored of it. But it was like very specific and like a lot of room to progress, and we're still doing it. We're still progressing and still growing.
I
Um,
I think one thing that was very very cool about it, like once the original, we have the blast cat strategy down, uh, and then people are getting the clears. Like when you guys, everybody had like a different idea on how to set up. I think it was just super cool to see like people trying it out because you were the one that was like, oh, I think Croc is super good. Let's throw Croc into the setup. and then and then I think it was Ice that like started using Medusa first or something, like, throw a
yeah, that
Medusa
was
in for the
cool.
debuff, pull it out on the bosses, like, and then I feel like it's still not fully settled. Like there is still things that people are trying because I was playing Vitru got his Envoy 15 and then he like practically went back to pre-blast kit. He doesn't even play blast kits. There is 2 at maximum on his board and it's just envoys everywhere.
Interesting. That's so cool. What
So,
about you? Oh, sorry.
so on that, sorry, but I've actually started messing around with Envoy as well. And Envoy, even just having one, tends to do about 30% more damage than even my 15 Croc does.
I I think one super underrated fact about Envoy is if you are running a Shimmer board, Envoy is the perfect unit to get the mobs lower so Shimmer gets maximum value, right? Like looking for little synergies like
Oh,
that.
wow. I didn't think about that.
Especially
Interesting.
since when her basic attack procs, it can hit anywhere on the board with those 2 other projectiles. It's not just at where she's attacking. It's just
True.
one of those weird glitches that we are not going to complain about.
Definitely need to be trying out Envoy. I have been seeing y'all using it, so definitely got to try that out. Um, But iBallou, I don't think you had a chance to talk on this topic. But how did you feel about like the progression of the meta so far in Nightmare? Like, how do you feel like it's changed since like the very beginning?
Well, there's not too much to add to it. As Kat said, we started, well, you guys started to put in Shimmer, put in Croc, experiment with more or less coins. Then the Necro came in. Yeah,
Necro.
so even as a support player, it's fun to watch how like the DPS players develop their styles and everyone has their own style. For example, yesterday, or yeah, I think yesterday it was, I played my first game with Ice, and he was like, "Yeah, do whatever you want." And I
Easy.
just sat there and was like, "Yeah, okay, that's not my job here. I'm a supporter. Do you even need me?" So yeah, it developed in a fun way.
I I also feel like there's been like I know, like personally, I did a lot of experimentation with like support builds as well. Like I tried a lot of units. There was a time I think where supports were running envoys just for execute, and it still gives attack speed buff and all that. But like I think uh support boards definitely have seen uh developments, or like like theory crafting on them as well, but obviously it's like a lesser extent than what the carry boards have experienced, because I know for a fact that support build that I play, or how I play support, is very very different than the one that's in the guide video, right? Or what majority of the people that you end up carrying through Nightmare play, because they just play dragons, they play turtles and some guns, and then call it a day. But like I when I was playing with Ruby, I started realizing like, hey, if I build one chanter, I am losing one owl, but my economy is not that relevant anyways. But over the period of the game, that one chanter will, every time it ults, it will hit the free coin ops, and it ends up generating like an absurd amount of coins throughout the duration of the game if you get it out early, right? So I'm sacrificing 6% attack buff, but my carry is 2 enhanced levels higher every single run, right? Like stuff like that. And then like min-maxing cutting out turtles. But I do agree with Baloo, like as somebody who's played like hundreds of support games, a lot less interesting than the evolution of the carry boards. But I feel like there is a lot of stuff that the support players like didn't necessarily dare to experiment with.
Yeah,
True.
because we get to this point right now because our DPS players start to like min-max everything, so we can be free to do other stuff too. Because when the Nightmare first started, we needed like every attack percent that we could get because everyone was like brute forcing it with blast cats. So we needed the attack buff. But now we can experiment a little bit too, depending on who we play with. But yeah,
Yeah. I
But
know. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ice.
so for that, big thing I try to harp on is like we can tell our supports everything they need to do, when they need to do it, all of that. But I'm really big on reinforcing their own thought processes. That's why usually when I'm
True.
doing carries, I'll tell them like the minimum requirements, then let them do whatever they want. Because if they're just following a guide or following what I say, they're not improving, they're just following. I want to
True.
reinforce people to think of their own strategies because it doesn't matter what level you are, how long you've played. Everyone has a different take on what could change, what could be better. Everyone's opinion matters.
Yeah. Definitely. I would like to add to that. Cause like, uh, even inside my crazy carry streaks, and I'm sure Ice experienced this, uh, too, while he was doing his streams. There'd be some supports. I think that one support ran like 5 crocs, and we like no lats and like two turtles, and like somehow we like nailed it down, right? So it's like there's seems to be like always like room to improve. I'm not saying run 5 crocs by any means. I'm just saying like definitely like I guess if you're like confident in your build, like somehow you can get it to work. So that's what definitely like people trying out different things on the support side. I know running with Action Cam today, he's been doing more hybrid stuff, um, and that has felt really good. So just seeing how both sides have been developing is like is really cool. Um, and it's cool to think because like initially when you're like trying to min max, like of course you're thinking pretty much about your side, but now it's like this guy talking about having a fairy out, and then it's over here buffing the support players. It's like now we're intertwining like not only the thought process on our own board, but like how it synergizes with the others, and now it's getting like really crazy, right? So um definitely like people trying things out and stuff like that and just experimenting. Like worst thing that happens is you lose the game, right? And then you go to the next one, um, and you figure something out, and that's worth more than any win or lose, in my opinion.
Right?
uh, um, okay, let's see what we got here. So getting towards wrapping up, um, but so semi-final topic here. How do you guys feel about like um, all the new updates with like the titles um, coming to the game, like all the hidden titles and stuff like that?
Yeah, we don't talk about titles around here.
Hidden titles are hidden for a reason, right? The community is supposed to all figure it out on their own.
No,
What the title
well,
is?
well, I'm talking about like not like how to accomplish them. I'm saying like, how do you guys think it's affected the game? Like now we have people doing things outside of just ranks and competitive. Now we have something to kind of farm. Like it's not game breaking, but it's like now we have these small little achievements we can work on aside from just
Small?
that relentless grind, right?
I think
Small.
So,
Yeah, that's why I spent 3 days and nights doing 1,000 dragons.
Dragon
Yeah.
Body. I need that
Yeah,
title still. But
a little leak right here, but yeah, you need 1,000 hatched dragons to get the Dragon Body title.
mm,
I mean, I think it was actually so. As much as I think that it was a bit of a double-edged one, like obviously the titles that are revealed in the game and we know how to get them, like they are cool and all, but like the hidden titles, like there were some people that knew how to get them, didn't want to share. There were some people that like didn't know what's going on, trying to guess what a title is and all of that. Like so that on its own was a bit of an interesting dynamic. But I definitely think that bringing the titles into the game has made content that wasn't that much relevant more relevant. Like for example, people that were spending all of their time doing nightmare runs and stuff have gone back to doing carries in heart just because they're trying to summon and ascend envoys or trying to summon dragons. So like I think it did actually get the community to engage in content that they thought they were done with again.
true. What are your opinions on titles, Ice?
Honestly, my opinions are a bad take on it because I don't care in the least to waste my energy on titles that don't give a damage boost.
I
Yeah,
I agree
I
with him.
kind of, honestly, I kind of wish that they would have added like not 2% damage boost, but like a little extra something attached to the titles
true.
so they're actually worth farming.
Or
Yeah,
like maybe like if you have the envoy one equipped, like you do X amount percent more holy damage, right? Or
Yeah.
if you have the dragon one equipped, it's more fire
One
damage.
1% extra hatch rate, 1% extra ascension rate. Like
Yeah.
reward us for failing 500 times. But no, I think there's definitely people in the community like the same take on like titles should give more of a reward. I do personally think the idea of having hidden titles and like the mystery and like the availability of them being a bit more limited, because first you have to figure it out and then you go through the grind, like that's kind of cool, but then again it doesn't really give anything and I don't really use titles, kind of don't care on the same time.
Yeah. I would say it's not necessarily a big part of the game, but I feel like these little things definitely make the game like it just feels like it does have more content in a way, and occasionally it's like you get worn out, farm a nightmare, maybe you're winning or losing too much in ranks, and you're like, I don't want to do either one of those. What can I do? That's maybe like brainless or something. And it's like, oh, I could go and do this envoy achievement, and just kind of settle down. So I feel like it's just these small little like Easter eggs kind of in a way. Like it's like,
Yeah,
oh, it's like look at this. I definitely feel like it's a good
I mean,
benefit to the game.
we did learn from games like World of Warcraft and stuff is that people just like collecting things just to have them.
Yeah.
Yep,
Um, which goes
agree.
to our final topic today is what is some future things that you guys would like, to see moving forward, or maybe good suggestions you've heard from the community?
Drop in the bombshell. I feel like there is a point that we all want to see in this, which is guild wars most likely, or guild to guild competitions.
True.
Yep.
I think that's one that probably all four of us and a lot of other people in the community will agree on, is like some sort of way for guild to interact, because right now guilds, apart from having your daily shop and buying white quartz or Mika every week, it doesn't really feel relevant.
I
And
agree.
rank balance, I
Okay.
mean, rank balance is my second point, definitely. Or well, I
I don't.
should say matchmaking, rank matchmaking.
Yeah.
I
I
would
definitely.
agree.
Oh, sorry.
Uh, Matchmaking in ranked is a bit skewed because it's based off the average of points for each team. So that's why a lot of like kings and king of glories will get matched with jades and then go against diamond and masters, because the rank matching goes based off of the average skill level of the teams, but the average skill level is based off points, which points are a horrible representation of actual power. That's where Wang and me get in the same lobby every game and then go against, say, a team of diamonds and then a masters here and there, because we're not nearly far enough ahead to actually make it balanced out.
Yeah. Mm,
But one thing I would like to change in the game is make main story worth it. Like,
yeah.
main story has no effect on anything. Nothing. The only thing it does, which it's great for the community, but obviously not for us that top up all the time.
Okay.
It gives diamonds. That's it. It also gives emblems, but there's no real benefit to progressing main stage. It doesn't increase your drop rate of emblems, nothing of the sort.
Hmm. that's an interesting concept. Is like maybe the further along you are in main story, like now Nightmare has, like a 5% chance to drop like a purple emblem or something like that.
That would be much better than the current state of main stage.
I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with those, just because of, in that case you would also have to uncap main story and catch every single server up to like the same point, because obviously the older your server is, the further ahead you are in the main story, which is probably why our Lord gear and elite stages feel so useless, because they don't work in co-op, is because then older servers would have a much bigger advantage over the newer server. But I do definitely feel like there should be like some way of at least making use of those gear, because if you're somebody from like the older servers or whatnot, or like you're decent at the game, you have decent collectibles and all of that, the Lord gear won't make or break your co-op anyways. You're just clearing it without any problems. There is really no use for it. And you have all of these new players buying stuff, or collecting and chasing these things that essentially won't really help them in the long run, because let's be honest, I think we all feel like co-op is the main game mode in the game, co-op and ranked, and main story is just like a side quest you do every 3 days.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So as long as they found a way to like balance it or cap it, like say, hey, the gear is like, as long as you have gear in between like tier 1 and 5, you get 2% damage boost. As long as you have gear between tier 5 and 10, you get 3%, something like that. So like it's not like
Yeah.
that skewed in the favor of the older servers. Like I definitely think it could be more utilized.
True. Especially with everything being you know, server 1 can fight server 34, right? So there's considerations. It works as a double-edged sword a lot because we can help anyone out, but we also, they have to fight us, right? So that's a big thing.
So, more my perspective on the Lord gear is allow it to affect co-op, not ranked. At least like the reforge percentages. That would help a lot of the
Yeah,
newer players out. Obviously, it would help us, but we don't really need help at this point. It's more for the longevity of the newer servers and the free-to-plays. Because they do spend so much time spending time on farming that gear. That would actually help them in co-op.
It's not just time, but a lot of them also invest flakes into buying like the powder to level up their legendary and mythic lord pieces from the shop, which we know is a waste because it doesn't affect anything, right? But they don't know that yet. They've not been told. So they do end up wasting in-game resources or potentially even money on something that won't really help them in the content that they are going to be doing like 80% of their time while they are.
I
Well,
think Ice had a good suggestion. I thought you were done.
you're
Sorry.
fine. You're fine. Go, go, go.
Ice did have a good suggestion with the damage percentage of the elements you get from the gear, because then that is a very minuscule thing if you look from our 10 tier gear to like tier 5 gear, right? Like it's not a massive increase, and honestly, like that would be really good, even if in just co-op, right? So as a big suggestion would definitely be, I would agree, is just find a way how to make Lord Gear somewhat useful. Give us an incentive to do the elite, right? Um, because right now, after like finding out, it's like, oh, this doesn't work in co-op. This, doesn't really apply to anything. It's like, well, now I don't even want to do elite, and elite should be like something you want to do, something you're excited for. If you're waiting 14 hours for a torch, it should be something like, you think about, it's like, oh, I get my torch later on, It's like I could do an elite run and then feel excited about. I will say, I also agree with Scad's um, suggestion on the guilds. I feel like that's like you need a reason to be in a guild. People feel strong with like a guild identity in these games. You know, they like to represent their clan, their guild. Um, so having some competitive factor um, to come together, you know, and build that strong community that keeps these games alive is a very important part that definitely look forward to seeing improvements on moving forward. Um, and I guess for my suggestion, oh, I let iBallou go first. I forgot what mine was.
Yeah, the only thing I would suggest is remove the vigor cap. We got X3 rewards now, so we can farm faster, but there is a cap on rebuying vigor. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah,
But
that's a
that's
good
just
point.
me. I'm crazy.
No, I 100% agree with it. Like, if I happen to stumble up on a day on a Saturday where I'm like got nothing to do, and all I want to do this or day is just play the game or do some carries, help people out. But I'm 3xing all of my runs because obviously I want the rewards. Like, I get to a point where I want to play, but I am gate kept because all of this extra vigor I can buy with gems is also limited. Like, it has a 10 use limit, but I have to buy
Yeah,
it twice to do a nightmare run on 3x, which means I'm allowed to do what, like 6, 7 runs a day at most, and then I have to go to bed. Or I
yeah,
definitely
right.
do
And
do
it's
do
shared,
agree with that.
and it's even
True.
shared with the vigor you need for ranked. So you need to keep that in mind too to do your like daily 3 to 5 ranked matches, or like 20 because they capped the ranked match to 20. So you can count like what was it, 120 vigor just for ranked if you want to like max it out every day. So yeah, it's not coming together.
That's true. Definitely allowing more farmability, you know, because and it would help the free to play sustainability, right? Because now they have a way to put in more time because they can't put in more money, right? Um, due to their own circumstances. Um, so, and then that's where the logic, you know, Wells have money, but they don't have time. Free to play have time. Um, you know, vice versa. Um, and then that way, the free to play could grind. They could get stronger, and not feel like there's such a gap between the two in any way possible. So really good suggestion. I think my suggestion would be I would like to see like the gold purpose. I think a member of the Discord recommended this, and uh, the purpose of gold should be it should be able to be used for more things because like right now we're sitting on I think I have like 5 million gold, right? And there's like no way how to use currency, and I feel um, like you can buy gold from the shop, but there's no reason to buy the gold because there's nothing to spend it on. But I think a good thing they could do with this is kind of like maybe your emblem rerolls could cost an X amount of gold, and then it's like that would allow the game also like if someone's spending all their gold on emblem rerolling or something, it's like well now they can buy gold to uh, target the things that snowflakes can't buy, right? So looking at it from a two-way perspective here, um, but it also allow free to play like more options to get the emblem rerolls that they really don't even have access to. Like pretty much like it's very rare they get the reroll scrolls, right? So I think that would definitely improve just the overall experience of the game for every player. Um, Implementing like more usages for gold, it would be my suggestion. But so is there wrapping up? Is there any final thoughts anyone wants to say, or any other topics you guys would like to discuss before we close this out?
So, one thing I do want to bring up is in the Discord, the game feedback. The devs actually, not completely, but they somewhat actually input the feedback that we have and actually submit in that tab into the game. Because when we first started recommending doing chat histories for in-game matches, the Slack Off Survival didn't have that until
Yeah.
we had it as well.
Hmm.
So they actually are listening to what we recommend, given we recommend some outrageous stuff sometimes, but
True.
utilizing that more will help the game improve.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a channel that a lot more people, even if they are not active on Discord and only join to see what events are or what the current gift codes are. Like, if you feel like you have an idea that you want to see in the game, put it in the game feedback channel, just so if it's a good idea and other people in the community can like it, they can upvote it, and it might actually be added to the game. Definitely agree.
Yeah, I definitely think the dev team's doing like a really good job for, of course, what they have to work with. But it's really good to feel like someone is listening and like not only listening, but doing the actions to show that they listened, right? So it's a really good feeling. I feel like we have a really active dev team. Um, and so I definitely recommend like players to, continue making suggestions because, you want the game to be good and they want the game to be great. Um, so definitely continue making those suggestions as much as possible. Um, all right. Well, is that everything? Is everyone? I,
Uh,
I believe.
my
Uh,
last suggestion, sorry, is you guys should all definitely like and subscribe.
True.
It's 10% increased prayer rate, so definitely do it.
Hit that follow
This
button.
is not a cop out.
Nope.
uh, well, thanks everyone for coming to this podcast. It's great to be able to speak with such awesome players that have made like such a big impact on the community over the last few weeks. Um, glad to see the community developing in voice chat. Um, just bringing everyone together, right? So we can have really, it is the experience of the game. It's playing with each other. So I just want to say thank you, everyone, for coming out to the podcast. Thank you for all the viewers that have been here watching. And we'll see you in game.